Hello, everybody. How are you? I am Cheryl Harnish, and if this is your first time viewing one of my videos, I am the author of the Path of the Soul cards, along with a few other decks. And today we're going to be using these little guys, which are brand new. These are the Czech translated version of the Path of the Soul cards, and I just love them because they're so teeny tiny. Like, where's this booklet? They're like a quarter of the size of the regular deck, so we're going to be able to fit way more in the screen. Now, I don't speak Czech, so the reading is definitely going to be in English, but I thought it'd be fun to use them and see how they work out. I'm also going to, so that's these little guys here, and we're going to be using the Return of Spirit deck as well, which are the larger cards here in blue. All the information on where to get my cards is down below in the video description. And I am also available for personal readings. Just so some of you who aren't aware of what I do, aside from being an author and artist of these oracle cards, I have been a reader for over 14 years. I have been intuitive all my life, which is a whole story and journey of itself, but isn't everybody's spiritual path a fun ride and crazy journey, right? So I am available for personal readings, and it seems like over the last few years, not by my choice, but my personal readings, they tend to veer towards purpose and what it is you as a soul are here to do. And it's not that I chose to focus them that way. And my readings do cover lots of other things. It's just that just seems to be my speciality, or where spirit is focusing the most right now, for me, intuitively anyway. So today I thought it would be really appropriate to base our reading on what's on the road ahead in your spiritual journey and personal journey, because like I said, it does get crazy, and sometimes we're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and what is spirit asking of me? And no matter how far along or advanced others may seem to be on their path, all of us go through that process or periods in our path. So let's find out what is going on for you guys spiritually and personally over the next little bit. Now, for our choices, we have Desert Rose, which I love. I just did a trip down to the Nevada and Arizona, so we have all deserty crystals today. We also have this piece of petrified wood from the Hopi lands that is crystallized, which I love, and a piece of rock from Sedona. So take a minute, close your eyes, take a few breaths, and just go with your first choice, the one that draws you in your heart or in your stomach, and don't think about it too much. Overthinking tends to be our problem when we're tuning in and tapping in. And if you want to go based on what the crystal is, that's fine. If it's the card pile, that's fine. However you want to pick it, that's perfect. And there are no rules. If you want to pick more than one card reading for yourself, then you go right ahead and do that too. Oh yeah, just so you know, I am on Instagram, so come on, you can look down there for all my information and where to see me there, and we can connect there as well. So, with that being said, let's get on to our readings. Okay, number one, we're just going to move these piles out of the way. So, if you have chose the Desert Rose, then this is the reading for you. So I'm just going to get these all laid out, and then we'll see how, see what's here. What is coming up for you on your road ahead? Now, they all have, it's all written in Czech. And like I said earlier, unfortunately, I don't read Czech. So, but I do know my cards, that's for sure. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. So you guys definitely have some connecting here that's going on. The first, the two cards that are drawing me the most right now is this little guy, which in the English version is called Ascension. And that is literally being put into this place where you're amping up your energy, you're amping up your intuition, you're tuning in, you're becoming more, often it's about becoming more sensitive to energy and where it is that you are resonating as a soul right now. And in that time when we start to go, become aware and conscious of this greater part of ourselves, in that process, we kind of discover that there's some things that we need to do personal growth-wise to bring our vibration and energy up to a place that's more congruent with that vibration of wholeness and love, because that is what we are. As a soul, we come from source energy, which is love, and the journey is moving into this higher vibration. Now, with that, with this awakening and ascending, for many of you, we have this little guy. Now, I'm going to hold her up close. To me, when I look at this looks like a little fetus inside a womb. And this card is called Rebirth. Now, with the Rebirth card, this is talking about having space away. There's this time of maybe you guys have been feeling like you need to withdraw, but I feel like a lot of you may have actually pulled out from that social scene, the public scene, and it's there's a deeper part of you in your heart that's calling you to kind of retreat and come into your own space and kind of get regrounded and recentered into who you are. And there is this process of going, this life that I've been living, it doesn't feel like it's really me. It's not congruent to me. I've been living this life that is, society or parents or, whoever it was, that I'm living this life, but it isn't really true to who I am as a soul. And this is kind of that taking a step back from life and really looking within and going, who am I? And it is literally a rebirth process. Now, you have two cards here that are talking about that intuitive connection to spirit. And what I love about that is, three actually. So I feel like I'm going to go to this one first, because when the prayer card comes up, that's spirit saying that there's been a lot of conscious connecting to spirit. So whether that's you guys have been working at really connecting to your angels, to your guides, whether it's loved ones or, meditating to get into that place where you can really open up your intuition and make that heartfelt connection to spirit. This is like an acknowledgement to say, we are talking to you. You are not crazy. This is for real. And to begin to accept that this is a new part of norm for your life, for you. But the biggest part of this is spirit acknowledging that this communication that seems so one-sided a lot of the times, that you are being heard. Your prayers and your deepest heart callings are being heard by the universe. And, we have this guy here, that's the creation card. And what that tells me, you know, is in this journey of growth and rebirth and coming into yourself and making this really strong intuitive connection to spirit, that this this card is about creating. And it's, you know, if you look at it, it looks like a world is being formed, and this is this process of creation. So on one level, I feel like, you know, they're talking about you guys being quite powerful as far as manifesting. And I know I can almost hear some of you go, yeah, I can't manifest, I'm not manifesting, or whatever. What this is saying is that you do have this powerful creator energy to you, and that a part of this process is stepping into realizing that you have something solid and real that you're here to create in this world. That, you know, whether that is a business or a healing practice or you know, whatever it is, because this is a general reading, it's going to be different for each of you, but there's something that you guys are here to bring through and actually create. And coming up along your path over the next few months, this is going to start to get revealed to you. And I feel really strongly that I have to say that in the beginning, if you don't already know what this card is talking about, that it's going to come to you, and it's going to come quietly. It's going to be this daydream kind of, you know, thinking about something. And, you know, a lot of the time it's the one that sends the fear of God into you. Oh my God, I could never do that. Oh, I don't know if I'd be successful. And, you know, your head speaks to you in the background saying, you can't, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you know, all the stuff, the BS that our minds feed us. The biggest part for you guys over the next few months is to let go of those fears. Do not listen to your heart or your head. You need to follow your heart on this, that these quiet little nigglings and nudgings and calling, it's going to be very quiet, because the ego, the thinking mind, it's loud and it yells at you. You know, the voice is very clear, our thinking mind. But our intuitive self, soul self, our heart is very quiet and gentle, and it whispers, and it just brings through things gently. So it's easy for us to kind of push it aside and go, oh no, that can't be it. But 99% of the time, that absolutely is it. And with Cosmos of the Heart sitting here in this reading, Cosmos really is about connecting to yourself in a much more loving, heartfelt, heart-centered way. And through that deepening of your connection to yourself in that way, you make a deeper connection out into the world, from a different place, operating from a different place than where you have been now. And, you know, I feel like when I was talking about this creating and bringing something through, we have the dreaming card here. So that is kind of telling me that many of you have had that vision, daydream kind of thing about what it is you want to do, and, you know, are having fear around actually stepping up to do that. And for many of you also, over the next few months, it's going to be imperative that you watch your dreams, because your dreams are your subconscious talking to you, and our subconscious is the direct interface between this physical reality here and the spirit realm. And whatever is coming through in your dreams are messages for you to help you and move you along in your journey. Now, with the mediumship card, that really, and it's kind of funny, they even laid out together, that mediumship card, if you look at this, so for some of you, this is actually like literally a direct message about doing mediumship. And for many of you, it is an acknowledgement of your intuitive abilities, and to remember that your intuition isn't going to work like everybody else, and it doesn't need to look a certain way, And there has to be a level of acceptance of how your intuition operates, and to not debunk it and ignore it, or say, I can't because my intuition doesn't work like so and so. Your intuition works perfectly, absolutely the way that it's supposed to for you. And a part of this process over the next few months is building that connection. So if you look at this card, it's split down the middle. It's a mirror image of each other from left to right. And you see all these pinks and purples. So that's really a heart-centered color. Like this is talking to the heart, about the heart, and with this blue, the purple, sorry, is very much that third eye activation. And it's like two sides coming together to make this contact. And that, in a way, is what mediumship is. And this is talking about whether that's with loved ones who've passed over, or spirit in general, your angels, guides. That's just making a connection to the other side of the veil. And I keep getting this feeling with you guys that you're much more intuitive than you give yourselves credit for, and that you guys are these powerhouses of, you guys have work here to do, you have something to create and bring through, and that this part of your journey over the next few months is very much about you coming into your power, stepping into your power. And with all this yellow here, I feel like I need to say, get some yellow happening in your environment, whether you're wearing the color or have it as flowers around you. There's something about really working that solar plex chakra and breaking down. It feels like there's quite a few blocks here in really stepping up for yourself and claiming your power and your spiritual truth. What I really love is that here we have the magical card. And with the magical card, that one is saying that that's when all those little signs, it feels to me like if you guys have not already been getting little signs, like you find a feather and it's a message from your angels, that there's signs and all these beautiful little magical coincidences that are coming up for you, and they are to guide you and encourage you. And I feel like intuitively you guys already know that this is a part of your journey. So it's pretty amazing. I'm stoked for you guys, because you're really stepping up the game here as far as where you're at spiritually and the contribution that you're here to make to the planet. This is a general reading. If you'd like a personal reading, just check down in the video description below on where to contact me. I wish you guys much love, and be sure to come by and see me on Instagram. And please do hit the love button, or the like, because when you do, YouTube will make the video available to more people so that they can also enjoy the readings as well. So thank you. Much love. Namaste. Hello, group number 2. For those of you who chose, this is my favorite piece, just so you know, the Hopi crystallized petrified wood. This piece of wood is over 167 million years old, I believe he said. It's my most cherished crystal. So I have a feeling that you guys are these little crystal souls here. Now, let's see. Is that stuck together? No. Okay. Let's see what you guys have here. Ooh. I love that. Wow. Wow. There's kind of a similarity between the cards that you guys had to group number 1, but not. There's something much more powerful here. with two different decks. You guys got two different cards that directly point to your intuition. And I feel like for you guys, where group number one felt like they were coming into this and just beginning that journey, it feels to me like many of you guys are really established intuitively. Like this is your gift. This is what you've come here to do and use. And remember that, you know, being an intuitive and using your gift intuitively doesn't mean, oh, I'm gonna be a reader, you know, I'm just gonna hold this up closer for you guys. It doesn't always mean you're going to be an intuitive reader. There's lots of jobs and professions where we're actually operating intuitively versus just in our head. And the best examples that I can think of are, you know, counseling and healing professions, as well as readers and things like that. So for you guys, it feels like Spirit's saying, yeah, you guys are on this journey. You're already in that place of embracing it. But it feels to me like you guys kind of took a knock somewhere on your path, you know, that somehow you guys took some hits of life, which does happen. And I'm saying that because of these two guys right here. With the rejuvenation card and the return of spirit card, the return of spirit card, that one, see, I get this feeling of this phoenix, if that's the wings and the body of a bird, and it's this rising and stepping back into yourself, into your life, like, you know, you were almost like that phoenix, you know, burnt down to the ground into ash, and you guys are just in that place where you're beginning to build yourself back up, newer, better, stronger, that sort of thing. And that it is a period of, you know, soul searching, soul healing, and really becoming more true to yourselves. It feels like for many of you, there's some sort of needing to claim yourselves in some way. And I don't know if that's, you know, personally with your partners and family and such, or if that's out there in the world in general. It feels like both, actually. With this card here, this one's called Bull Guide. And whenever this bad boy shows up, it tells me that there has been a need for you guys to stand up for yourselves, to, you know, really, like, literally, metaphorically grab the bull by the horns and say, you know what? This is who I am, where I'm at, what I'm doing. This is me. And Bull Guide card usually shows up when you've had to stand up for yourself, take a stand. And you know what? And it's coming to me that it feels like even if that taking a stand has been you needing to take a stand against your own self and your own mind, and that chatter, that constant chatter, I feel like you guys have a lot more so than the other group. This mind that keeps talking to you and saying, you know, that's trying to keep you really small, and you're in this fight and struggle, which is why this situation, this knock in life kind of manifested, because it brought all those old beliefs and things to the forefront for you to be able to deal with that, so that you can clear this out and then come back better and stronger and begin to manifest newness in your life instead of what's running on your old subconscious tapes. Now, I feel like with this guy showing up here, this is the Lover's card. And this is, I see it as almost like two people. Sorry, my camera cut out. This is like two chests coming together, and their hands are interlocked and interwoven in this heart. And I do have to say, it feels like that love and support that you guys are needing, to not judge yourself for that that there's this need that you guys have to have this partnership. And I feel like on an intimate level, your heart is calling for this partner who is supportive of you and what you do, where you feel like you've really got that union. And allow yourself that need. Because I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, I shouldn't need a relationship and blah 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 because I need to be independent. And well, yes, we all need to be independent. There's some souls who come here who are beautiful, delicate people on the inside, no matter how hard and tough and strong they appear on the outside. And for you guys, there's just this great stability that comes when you're in a supportive, loving, healthy relationship. And I feel like for many of you, that is actually in the cards, no pun intended, but that this is coming up in, anywhere from the next 3 to 6 months, that there could be a new love interest. And if it isn't a new one, it's a rejuvenation. Again, I'm using that word, a rejuvenation of your relationship, so that it is, and it literally is above that return of spirit. So it's almost like a rebirth, a new beginning in your relationship, where there's just a little more equality, I feel like is the word I need to use, in your relationship. Now, with this card here, this card is called vibration. And when this guy shows up, it's talking about learning lessons around, if you could imagine that you are this brilliant energy of light, because that's really what we are. We are light and love. And this card is like a reminder of the energy, our vibration that you put out in the world. And that this card is a reminder of the effect that you have as a soul on other people, on your environment, on what you create in your life. And that some of these lessons may have been, especially where it's beside that bull guide card, you've been having those lessons about claiming your power and truth, and how you do that in a relationship, like all relationships, not just intimate relationships. And that, you guys are here to be in your power, to share the energy of who you are, because what it is that you do helps to uplift others. Like, you guys are the healers of the world, in whatever form or fashion that you guys, whatever it is that you're working, that you're the group that are here helping to uplift others. And you've needed to kind of retreat and take this step back and rebuild yourself in a new way, come back out into the world in a new way. Now, I feel like for you guys over the next few months, along with that rebuilding of a relationship or a new supportive relationship coming in, this card is called clarity. And it feels to me like, more of the veil will be lifted for you guys, where there is more solidity in your life about where to point your arrow, to aim and shoot. It feels like there's a very assertive direct that I'm getting when I pick that card up. So that's for most of you, that's for sure. Now, along with gaining that clarity, with all that purple in there, that's again talking about the third eye. You've got the intuition card with these massive spirals all over the place. And you have this guy, which is the channeling guide. So out of these two decks, you guys, like, I don't know how much more channeling guide and intuition. So this is, some of you could actually channel, like, consciously sit down, remove yourself out of the situation and allow spirit to speak through you. But I feel for a lot of you that in what you do, you naturally are conveying what spirit needs to other people. Like, you're You guys are like a spokesman for spirit, and a lot of the times you won't even know that you're doing it. That you just feel compelled to say such and such to someone, and it happens to be exactly what they need to hear, and that you guys, through that capacity or ability, that's where a lot of your healing lies, in what you allow yourself to express to others in that way. So the throat chakra is really huge for you, and so don't let what's happened here, don't let it be a roadblock. Let it be your lessons and learning. Don't let that hold you back, because you guys definitely have a beautiful purpose here. And I want to hold this one up nice and close, because I don't know if you can see it here. This card is number 44, and it's called Birth of Angels. And this is like this main angel, and all these beautiful angels are being birthed out of it. And that's kind of what I was saying, that you guys do this intuitive work. There's an element of healing, and it's almost like whatever it is that you guys are doing, you help others to uplift them and raise them up and bring them to their highest place awareness of their truth. I mean, there's so many ways that I could express this. You guys have an incredible gift, and I feel like that's why you're watching this video, because you needed to hear that today. You needed to have that cheerleader on your side saying, yes, this is absolutely what's going on, and just to hold strong. And, you're coming back into that space of power, and it feels like you guys are really going to step up and claim yourself this time. But don't be surprised if over the next few months you're still going to have some situations or circumstances where you're going to have to speak up for yourself, hold your ground in a loving, grounded way, to just claim yourself and your power and your truth. Okay. Now, this is a general reading. I am doing personal readings, and all the information on where to get those are down below. And come follow me on Instagram, and please do hit the like button, because when you do, it helps YouTube to decide to share this video with new people who may not get to see the reading otherwise. Anyhow, I look forward to a reading for you guys very soon. I wish you much love. Namaste. Hi, group number 3. Okay, had to restart. I ran out of space for filming. So, for those of you who chose the Sedona rock, there's actually some really beautiful crystals in here. It just is much prettier when it's wet. So, just before I hit record, I had this really strong feeling that you guys are like this starseed group in a way, and I can't really explain why I feel that, but I do. So I feel like you guys are, the ones that always are looking for your place and where you belong, and trying to figure out, your path and purpose. Like, how do you fit into this world? And I feel like a message for you guys is that it's not about fitting into the world. It's about being who you are, as you are right now in this world, because who you are as you are is what's needed. And I don't often give messages like that, so, but for whatever reason, oh no, that's interesting. Okay. I'm just kind of putting this together. It feels to me that the biggest message that I'm getting right here is this whole row of cards down here at the bottom, because with the from the Return of Spirit deck, you have the 2 cards that talk about shifting. You have the word shifting in both. And so that tells me that over the next few months that there are some changes coming up for you guys. And kind of funny that the vibrational card is sitting in here. And it feels to me like you guys do quite a bit of not just intuitive work, but whether it's meditating or sound healing. Like I get a lot to do with sound and healing, and I don't know if that's both for you guys, because it's a general reading. It's going to manifest differently for each of you guys. But there's a lot about really working within your strengths and power, your energy, and what you're doing with your energy, and the effects that this has out there in the world. With these two guys here, like with the frequency shift card, the frequency shift card is kind of saying, like, right now you guys are vibrating at this particular level, and that the work that's coming up for you guys is about like cranking that dial up, that it's about raising your vibration. And I have to say, it's not just about raising your vibration, it's also about working your consciousness, because our thoughts, feelings, perceptions all directly influence the state of our being. And so it feels to me like there's a lot of work there, that personal growth kind of work that's involved with this frequency shift of really coming into this alignment of something that's much more congruent with your soul. Because it feels like, I really feel this feeling like that there's a lot about you guys finding your place in life. Like, life is this great big puzzle, and you feel like you're this odd puzzle piece out, that you don't have a place. And this is very much about really being brave and strong enough to be who you are as you are, and to know that the world doesn't need another scoop of vanilla. It needs that crazy rainbow flavor that you personally bring to the world in whatever way that you do bring it. And I feel like I need to give you guys that reassurance for some way. But, as this process of growth and change is happening over the next few months, things are going to shift for you. And, that can be very much in the lines of your work profession, like your daily job, or this shift, because it's a general rating, can be in many areas. But the thing with this card, when this one comes up, is that with that shift, when the planet itself needs to make a change, the planet, or the plates in the earth actually shift. And when that happens, the whole ground rumbles. And so this is kind of like a reassurance from spirit that as your ground kind of rumbles over the next few months, as you're making these adjustments in your life, that to allow yourself of being in the place of not knowing, and not that it's going to be unstable, but allowing space for the instability with events, because there's a bridge of incidences. I love that phrase, that brings us from where we are to where we need to be. And in that transition time, things will break down for new things to be built back up around you. And so it feels like you really need to be in a place of allowing, and stay conscious and aware, grounded, present, and working with your subconscious beliefs, and not just your beliefs, but how you're perceiving yourself, the world, and all of those things. It's a very integral part of what you're working with right now. It also feels like this is the Divine Order card. And when the Divine Order card comes up, for many of you, there has been a focus, or needs to be a focus, it could be either, on your health, on your physical body. And often when I get a reading and they start talking about paying attention to your physical, I'm like, yeah, okay, on to the next. But the important thing to know, that your body is the vehicle, the holding cell for your soul. We need this vessel. You need this vessel. And so it's important that you are looking at your diet and what you're putting into this machine to keep it running smooth. And I wouldn't doubt that there's going to be some shifts for you in your physical body, whether that's, like releasing some old pains, healing for you guys in some way as you make this energetic shift into where over the next few months. And, now this is catching me too. Okay. So not only that, it feels like there's something new. See, this card is called Revealed. And this is like this pinpoint way out in the farthest of our perception, of our reality. And that things are beginning to come out of this point and unfold out for you. And that there's this process of things being revealed. That it's not just all one clump, and you guys are on this real road to discovery. And I feel like there's going to be lots of coincidences or happenings, where you pick up a book that you have had for 4 years and suddenly you have the urge to read it because now is the time to read it, or you're connecting to the right people and you start to see more of your path unfolding in this really synchronistic kind of a way. Because there are times when it's not about knowing the whole path from the start and then walking it. A lot of the times it's about walking the path and then the pieces unfold for you and it all comes together. I feel like you guys are like these powerhouses, and you absolutely have this mission, there is stuff for you. There is a purpose for you individually. And with this card, this is the Intuitive Arts Guide. And so it feels to me like there is some classes or self-teaching. There is a strong connection to your guides, angels, ascendant masters, whoever it is that resonates with you. It feels like the energy that I'm getting with this card is that there's more of a force coming out for you. Like, you haven't had your listening ears on, or if you had, it's kind of like the volume from the other side, from the side of spirit, is kind of getting cranked up. And I guess that really does go along with this frequency shift card. That it feels to me like there's much more direction for you guys directly from spirit. And, a lot of the times we get messages through other people and through these events, even though that's all unfolding. It feels like there's some sort of more direct connection for you. And I wouldn't doubt that many of you are going to be developing your intuition even more. Now, we do have this card here, and with this card, it's called Fertile, and I see this almost as this. Now, it's hard to see on camera because it's quite dark, but it almost has this sperm-like shape in these two eggs, and that tells me that the ground is fertile for you right now in these new endeavors, because it feels like there's some sort of switch over from whatever it is that you're doing right now into this something new. There's some thunder going on, so I hope that doesn't come through in the recording. But with this process, with this, the ground is fertile, it's about allowing that impregnation of ideas to take everything that comes to you idea wise, or that you're hearing, to put it all into your bag, and then you can sort it later. It feels like there's stuff coming to you from you, or for you from spirit, to help you on this, because there's something new that you guys are delving into. But it isn't actually completely new, because with this card sitting here, this card, it reminds me of these theater masks. That's one of the eyes to the theater masks. And there's all these tiny, tiny masks in there. It reminds me of past lives and all the, these meat suits that we put on time after time after time. And it feels like there's some sort of accumulation of knowledge and understanding. And that a part of this is to utilize that and to use it, because ultimately we are here to be of service in some way to the world and to humanity, even if in the most mundane of jobs we bring this to the world. And it feels to me like you guys, there's something that it's something you've done before, and now you're leveling up. You beat the big boss on that one level of the video game, and now you're moving up to the next level. And that's the feeling that I get here. So and I wouldn't doubt that you end up connecting with a few people over the next few months who you have that real soul connection, that familiarity. When you meet them, you're just kind of like, I feel like I know you. The other thing here, and I feel like that's working with the Intuitive Arts Guide, this card is called Encoded, and it's really difficult to see on video, but there's all these symbols and patterns in the background of this card kind of surfacing. And that card is really talking about seeing the deeper levels of people and their intentions and the way that they operate and why they're operating that way, and situations that are happening, and what, like, seeing the greater purpose of that, or seeing how spirit is working through these situations. And it feels to me like, you get almost like this X-ray vision. And I wouldn't, I feel like this is actually more something that you have the ability to do, like, that you operate this way anyway, but it feels like it's going to be much more magnified for you over this course. As things are shifting and changing, you become much more aware of how spirit is working through your life and through these situations, and weaving this web of support and strength for you to really step into yourself and step into your calling here. I do have to say that overall, it feels to me that there is a big shift, change into really claiming yourself and your path and your purpose and your uniqueness for you guys over the next few months. Like, there's some big stuff happening for you, and it's really exciting. Now, this is a general reading. I am available for personal readings, which will, be more direct to you about what it is you need, and all that information is down there in the video description. And please do hit the like button and share the video with friends, because that helps YouTube to decide to show the video to more people, and we can kind of spread the word of spirit and guidance and intuition and love and all those things. I appreciate you guys. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you very, very soon. Much love.